With Season 2 recently wrapped up, why not take a look back into Solo Leveling Arise and see if it was truly overshadowed by Wuthering Waves' big release. What's going on YouTube, Adachi here. Now this was a game I checked out on launch and quickly dismissed with Wuthering Waves coming out just around the corner. I had some gripes that haven't changed, especially since this is a game from Netmarble, but that does also mean that we're looking at a relatively high quality game. The story pretty much just follows the anime, but I do like how it is told when they utilize the paneling from the actual webtoon. The story chapters are fully voiced, which is very nice, but they tell a lot of the story with just a couple talking faces with some text boxes, and these are the only parts where the story starts to become a snooze. With a little expression and a lot of meandering, only amplified when it comes to certain portions like events when there's no voice acting. Now gameplay is separated between a couple different styles depending on the content you're playing. The main character Jinwoo is who you will be controlling and building typically when it comes to story content and other modes, but there's a lot of content that revolves entirely around the gacha characters where you build a team of 3. I do like playing as Jinwoo as he's very smooth and incredibly customizable. There are multiple weapon types that change your basic combo. These weapons also have unique skills. You can unlock and equip different skills to suit your playstyle or the content, as well as these runes that can change how the skills work entirely. When controlling Jinwoo, you also bring your gacha characters that will be able to perform signature skills throughout the battles. Now let's take a look at the home screen, which is also a hub area. There is so much going on here, so let's just try to cover it all. Top left we have subscriptions, which there are multiple, and guild buffs. Going down the line we have rankings for different forms of content, the Gacha Shop events, the AFK collect your resources, your missions including like daily missions, and your mail. The lady on the right gives you some shortcuts that the game thinks you should do, like events and reminding you about subscriptions, and the button here is basically a new player track that guides you into what you should be doing and giving you a bunch of rewards for doing so. Now opening up our menu, and holy, there's more. A lot more. And then we open up game modes and yeesh! We're going to attempt to speedrun here. We got a classic story mode with multiple difficulties. Hunter archives are side stories that you can farm for many rewards, including some skins. Battlefield of Trials are tower modes. Gates are combat power dependent dungeons that can be swept. With some certain circumstances you need to have a subscription to do so. Encore missions and instant dungeons are boss fights that reward gear, which there are 8 slots of gear with semi-randomized main stats and up to 4 random substats. From what I could tell, it looks like substat upgrade breakpoints are every 5 upgrades for a total of plus 20 on gear. Battlefield of Chaos, you fight waves of enemies to gain gems. Gems are slotted in for various stat bonuses. These bottom 2 parts are ongoing events, and on the right we have Battlefield of Time, which are bosses where you are rewarded and compete based on clear time. Guild Boss, you will take in Jinwoo and 9 gacha characters to fight a boss and are scored based on how much damage you do. Power of Destruction, you will fight a boss, try to do as much damage as possible, and survive for as long as possible. I like this one a little more than some other fights because the boss has breakable parts, which I just think is a neat interactive tidbit. Now the 2 modes I haven't unlocked yet and I don't think are super realistic for me to do soon enough are Workshop of Brilliant Light and Simulation Gate. Workshop seems to be a mini dungeon where you'll want to run this for endgame gear, including cores, which I haven't unlocked yet, but seem to be another piece of gear with a couple semi-random stats. Simulation Gate seems to be their take on a roguelike mode, so semi-randomized nodes to move into and random boosts as you progress. Let it all sink in, it's so much stuff. As someone whose current game completely lacks many forms of content, this is the polar opposite. There's so much here, it's overwhelming. That's not even including the ongoing events, one being pretty standard, some story, mission rewards, and a boss to fight. The other being to fight a farm stage, then team up with a couple of other real players to take down the Ant King boss. I'm not sure if all events always look like this, so I won't look too deep into these. And as for the teaming up, it's apparently just some DPS bars on the side of your screen, not actually playing alongside those players. As a new player, this is all super daunting, especially because you have to progress through so much story just to unlock all of these, as well as eventually being gated by your level if you're like me who doesn't have infinite time to play the game. Pulling away from the behemoth of content, we have our gacha. I currently have this fixed support draw which uses these scarce tickets to select one unit, and when I pull an SSR unit, it will be guaranteed to be that one. This is pretty neat as it's not just exclusively locked behind a paywall, and as far as I know these tickets might not be locked at all behind one. There are rate up banners using one type of ticket. One appears to be new and will not be available in the general pool right now. The other seems to be a rerun as she is available in the general banner. The general banners take the form of custom draws where you will select the units or weapons you want on rate up. Collectively, all 4 will take half of the SSR rate, so taking a look here, we can see that they are taking up a total of 0.6 of the 1.2%. There's also a weapon-specific custom draw, but I haven't gotten a lot of tickets of that. They have given me a couple hundred of these custom draw tickets so far though, and there's definitely hundreds more for me to get. This is nice as it allows new players to hyper-focus at least a single team to play with something competitive, as units can be upgraded with up to 5 dupes, and the same goes for weapons. I don't want to swing in either direction, particularly when it comes to the gacha, as the pool isn't super large, but as a new player, I feel like I've been showered with quite a lot of pulls, and I would be much more curious once they're done showering me with these first-time clear rewards just to see how generous the gacha really is. The next behemoth I'm not going to do justice to really is the in-game shop. There are 12 sections with multiple subsections in the shop, from in-game currency, real money, and an exchange shop for the various resources you will farm over time. From what I've seen, there are 3 subscriptions available offering various benefits, most notably a sweep function for certain conditions for gates, and some XP and gold buffs. Overall, I don't typically have problems with subscription features. Usually they're really great value compared to everything else offered, but it leaves a really sour taste in my mouth when quality of life features are locked behind a paywall. The one the game introduced to me with their free subscription trial was sweeping A rank or higher gates, which for very cheap with in-game gold, these can be re-rolled to find higher rarity gates anyway, which will primarily give you better mining rewards. Of which there is some kind of auto mining feature also behind the subscription. Not sure what this one does, but I know I don't get to use it. Without going further in depth with the shop, which could be a long video on its own, the overall monetization and to an extent the game itself gives off a lot of idle game / mobile MMO vibes. The shop has 1,000,002 packs, of which seem to be pretty good value if I were a high spending player. There's multiple currencies and resources that just become increasingly confusing. And if you're 99% of the population that hates seeing little notification bubbles, then you will hate looking at the menu, as there's multiple that will pop up for both good reasons like free rewards and annoying reasons like I have a dossier on a character I haven't read yet. There's also many other features I haven't really looked into, but honestly it's more of the same or not really worth going over. There's a guild system for more chores, this battle tier which has its own button for some reason that just gives more rewards as I increase my team's total power, Army of Shadows which sounds cooler than it really is, you can go kill hundreds of specific enemies for free rewards, and much more. Overall, I want to like this game. I think the instance gameplay and combat itself is pretty simple, flashy, and fun, but everything else around it is just too much bloat for my liking. It has all the micromanaging tedium of a million MMO-esque upgrade systems without the customization and fun, in my opinion, of an actual MMO. In conclusion, the makings of a fun game bogged down by what seems to be content for the sake of content, obfuscation for the sake of confusion. I think if playing with these multitude of systems is fun to you, I say give it a shot. There's no PvP from what I've seen, so you can really go at your own pace, but I wouldn't really tell anyone to go out of their way to check back in. Thank you to everyone for watching as always. Like, comment, subscribe, or don't. See ya.